It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Here's our host, Randy Wilburn.
Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and I'm excited to be with you, as I always am. I'm never not excited, so I think that's one of the good things about doing podcasting. If it's something that you love and you enjoy doing it day in and day out, I think it's always easier to do, right? Time kind of stands still when I'm podcasting, believe it or not, and I enjoy that aspect of it. Today, I'm actually sitting with an individual that I won't say I've pestered him for quite some time, but I have connected with him for a while now, and I followed him for more than a few years. His name is Joseph Nguyen, and Joseph is the Hangry Peddler NWA. He is a blogger. He has a food and cycling microblog, and for those of you that do follow him on Instagram, you've probably relied on him for some really good advice and guidance about places to eat in and around Northwest Arkansas. I would easily say that Joseph is one of the best people to check in with to learn about new places to eat, as well as established restaurants and takeout places, and especially food trucks in and around the Northwest Arkansas area. And I know that I personally rely on him for a lot of food advice. And so I'm just excited to have him on the podcast. So without further ado, Joseph Nguyen, I want to welcome you to the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. How are you doing?
I'm good, Randy. Thanks for having me. I know we've been trying to hook up for a while now, and last year I had a wedding and just my life's been crazy.
I know.
100 miles an hour. So I'm finally here and glad to be here and talking to you in person.
Absolutely. Man, listen, I totally get it. And I appreciate you actually did me a solid a couple of months ago. You agreed to be a judge for the Arkansas Advocate for Children and Families Soup Sunday event, which took place up in Rogers at the convention center. And you, along with several other amazing individuals whose arms I twisted, came together for a great cause. Actually, really enjoyed some amazing soup too in the process.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was very honored that you asked me. It was fun. I never heard of that event before.
Right.
But when I showed up, it was a big production. I was my back was against the crowd, as they were coming in. And I looked back at one point and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people here. And I even told the event organizer, I think Missy Kincaid.
Yeah, yes.
I was like, I want to be a part of this. I don't have to be a judge. I want to raise money.
Yeah.
It's such a great cause.
It is.
Eating for a good cause, I'm there.
Always there.
Thank you so much for even thinking of me for that. And I'm very honored to be there.
No, well, I appreciate you, and I certainly appreciate you taking the time to do that. I would love for the uninitiated here that listen to this podcast, one of the things that we love to do is to learn a little bit more about the individual. I'd love for you just to give us your superhero origin story. You don't have to go, we joke, I always say you don't have to go back to the cradle. You can start wherever you want to start, just to tell us a little bit about who Joseph Nguyen is.
As a person or as the Hangry Peddler?
As a person, just in general.
See, born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Okay. Moved away in 9th grade. I got into some trouble there. So I moved to California to live with my aunt and uncle. And then my dad has a nail salon that he opened up in Arkansas.
Okay.
To, try to get away from the big city. And then he established it in 1994. And then after that, he recruited my uncle to move to Arkansas. So we ended up moving here. I had no idea where Arkansas was. I hated it,
Oh, man.
And it was quite different for sure. But now that I look back, it's the best decision ever. And I'll probably be here for the rest of my life, honestly. I work at my dad's nail salon starting out. And now
what's the name of the nail salon?
It's Natural Nails in Fayetteville.
Okay, Natural Nails.
Well, Natural Nails.
Shout out to those guys.
Yeah. So I started there in 2002 while going to college. The entire college thing didn't work out for me. So, I'm still doing it 20 years later. But now, currently, I work for my two sisters, Maya and Mimi. They own Gloss Nail Lounge in the same plaza as Whole Foods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been, doing nails for 20 years.
Man.
It's not glamorous, but somebody has to do it, and it pays the bills and makes money for me to go out and eat good food. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me this: who convinced your dad to come to Northwest Arkansas of all places?
He had nail salons in Dallas, and his business partner was from Fort Smith.
Oh,
so he was like, "Hey, just up the road, up the highway in Fayetteville, there's only one nail salon. It's a college town.
Yeah,
come over here. Let's try it." So they came here together to open it up.
And they tried it.
It did well. And then from then on, they got all the family here, including myself. So,
oh man, I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah, small business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And your sister's place is doing really well too?
Oh yeah, they stay really, really busy.
Okay.
Yeah, because we already had an established clientele.
Yeah.
So transitioning to the new place, like we already had our clients, but I mean, it's been great. The plaza, the Whole Foods Plaza.
Right. There's a bunch.
Over there,
there's a lot. That's the plaza right up on North College. It's right before you get to the bypass. There's a Cava there. There's a Chipotle. There's a number of fast food places as well as the Whole Foods, and your location is up there. So yeah, I'll have to come check that out. I keep saying I don't want to. I always joke. I don't want to get my man card revoked by going and getting a pedicure.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
But I know a lot of guys go and get pedicures and manicures.
Yeah, our old football coach, Brett Bielema, used to come in there with his wife, Jennifer.
Okay.
Dude, we had a lot of guys.
A lot of dudes.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. That's funny. No, that's cool. I will certainly have to. Now that I know you guys own it, I'm definitely going to have to promote you guys in terms of what you're doing. But I appreciate you sharing that. I think that's kind of cool. Where did the love of food come in?
Okay, to be honest, I think when I met my wife now. Yeah, because before I wasn't really a foodie, and then I met her, and then we would try new things, and then before that, I just used to eat the same things over and over and over
Creature
again.
Of habit, right?
Yeah. Creature of habit, exactly. And then I met her, so we're trying new things, and I try to woo her and, hey, let's go to this new spot. And then because she's a big foodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, more so than I am. So I'd say since 2015. I mean, I've been eating out a lot here and there, but it's always the same thing. But a true foodie, I think it's when I met her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I give her credit for making me explore more options. And like even before I met her, I never had Korean barbecue before.
Really?
Yeah. Like stuff like ramen.
Yeah.
I never had ramen until I met her. And then she really opened up my eyes to exploring new things. So I can't say I've always been a foodie because it's not true.
Right.
Because, 2015 when I met her.
Okay, so 2015, it is now 2023 as we're recording this. So that's been about 8 years. And you kind of found your lane, if you will, with what you're doing with the Hangry Peddler Northwest Arkansas. Did you, when you started in 2015, kind of paying attention to what you were eating and all the different options that were available, what were you thinking about the food scene here in Northwest Arkansas back then?
Oh, back then, it was for sure lacking big time. Like, even like a pho restaurant, it's like Vietnamese beef noodle soup. We didn't get one here until like within the last 10 years, I think.
Sure.
So, I mean, I used to drive to Fort Smith to eat pho and then drive back, like 2-hour round trip.
Right.
We're definitely lacking a lot of like foods that I grew up with in Dallas, Texas, big food scene there. But then in the past 5 years or so, like I think the food scene has grown.
It's blown up
a lot, big time, and I'm here to highlight it.
Yeah. So what year did you actually start the Hangry Peddler NWA?
I started that in August of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So about 3.5 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
No. Yeah. 3.5 years.
Something
Yeah.
Like that,
So that was like well before the pandemic hit, and you kind of started to find your cadence and put it out. When did you realize, wow, people are actually listening to what I have to share when I post this stuff on Instagram?
Within a year or so, I started to get more followers, and people would like message me with different recommendations, and like just the engagement on my posts, people commenting and liking my posts. And I know, just liking the post doesn't seem significant, but I feel like it is because I know that people are actually looking at it,
Yeah.
And then enjoying it and stuff like that, and actually messaging me with places like telling me, hey, you need to go here, or messaging me saying, hey, I went to the place that you just posted. and it was like really good.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And like thanking me for what I do. And I was like, wow, like it made me feel good, because I don't do this for money.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But so just like, it's like,
You like good food.
I like good food and I just want to share it.
Yeah.
My family, they're small business owners, and I know small business owners here, like restaurant owners, sometimes they struggle to get their food out there, and like that's what I'm here for, to spread all the good food in the Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, because kind of what I feel like what you have done for small restaurants locally here is you have been that restaurant whisperer, right? Where you've kind of said, hey, there's a really great place up in Rogers, or hey, there's a really great place up in Fayetteville, or you fill in the blank location. And then all of a sudden, people become aware of it because now you have, right now as we're speaking, I remember when I started following, you probably had about 8,000 or 9,000 followers. Now you're up to almost 16,000. That's a lot of people. That's the size of a decent sized town. Matter of fact, the population of Centerton is smaller than the number of people that you have following you on Instagram. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. I mean, that, like Uncle Ben said to Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. You have a lot of power in the fact that you have people that follow you, that tune in to, because I'm always looking for a new place to go eat. And I actually just texted you the other day asking you about a restaurant that I'm not going to mention the name of it. But I mean, I'm always, inquiring about, hey, what about this place? Or hey, what about that place? And if it's a place that you haven't talked about, I'm always interested to find out. Because I mean, you're just one person. So I know it's hard to cover everything.
Oh, yeah,
but
very hard.
you have found a way to get out and really connect with a lot of different restaurants. And you said something very important, which is that restaurants have a hard time telling their story, right? And I have found that you've been able to tell that story through your images, through the food that you talk about, that you try. And I mean, you try a lot of different foods. So, I mean, I love your budget for eating. If you ever need a friend to join you for a meal, I'm your guy. Yeah. So, but no, seriously though, I mean, at what point, because I asked you offline, I said, do you consider yourself a food critic? But you say you don't. You're just a dude out there trying different things.
Yeah. I'd say I'm a food resource, I guess, restaurant resource.
Okay.
So, because I don't like to post negative stuff about restaurants, so I don't really give them a grade like 5-star or whatever.
Yeah.
2-star because the food wasn't good.
Right.
I try to keep it positive because like I said, my family are all small business owners, and I know how hard it can be for somebody to go out there and just write something negative about you just from one experience. So I just try to keep it 100% positive. People sometimes go on my posts and post real negative stuff, so the block button is my favorite thing. I mean, I tell them, hey, that's not cool and all that.
Right.
And they'll argue with me and I'm like, okay, block.
Yeah.
So I just try to keep it 100% positive. So I would not call myself a food critic.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. And, I think there's something to be said for the fact that, you keep it 100 in terms of the places that you do visit. And you've told me that, there have been places that you have visited that you decided not to feature for one reason or another. So in that way, maybe you decide I'm not going to expose my audience to everything that I experience because it may or may not be worth it.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. There are a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot. There are some restaurants I've gone to and maybe the food wasn't good and just I had a bad experience, just like service and all that.
Sure.
And sometimes the food, I mean, it's really awful and I don't want to put it out there,
Yeah.
So I just try to highlight all the places I really like. So like I said.
Oh, you're fine.
I don't get paid for this.
Yeah.
So like if somebody says, hey, come try my food, I tell them straight up like, hey, I mean, sometimes they do give me food for free. I tell them straight up, if I don't like it, I won't post, but most of the time I do like their food because I'm not a picky eater.
Sure.
There's always a positive that I could find like a certain dish, I might get like 3 dishes and I might like one of them. So in my post, I'll highlight that one,
Right.
I might not like the other ones as much, or but I won't talk about the other ones.
Yeah. But that also doesn't mean that it was bad food too.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes you get a meal. Like I've gotten a meal at places that I frequent quite a bit, and it's not quite up to par of what I expect. So I give everybody a pass, right? I think every organization or business deserves a mulligan from time to time. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that every time they step foot in a restaurant, they expect that it has to be 100% out of the box experience. And unfortunately, you're dealing with people, and sometimes people have bad days. Sometimes chefs have bad days. And yeah, I would venture to say that any place that I've had a bad experience where I've brought it to their attention, on the down low, not like making a stink about it in public, I've always had a situation rectified, right? And I think a lot of times you would get so much more with, hey, you guys may be dealing with some stuff, but I had this experience and this was, this is what I experienced. And you'd be surprised what a restaurant owner would do for you. But yet I still see a lot of people that love to go to social media as their place to go to make a stink about something because they feel like, well, this is the platform and this is the place where I can go bring this to the people so that everybody knows and they can be warned not to go to XYZ pizza shop. Yeah,
that's a good way to do it, because just do it behind the scenes and give them these places constructive criticism,
right?
But privately,
Yeah.
So I agree. I've done that before too, actually.
Yeah,
to just be like, hey, so and so, this and that was, you could change about that, but not tell them what to do, but kind of give them my experience and all that. And like food trucks, this one food truck I went to, the wait time was a long time. And then I kind of like messaged him like, hey, I don't want to tell you what to do, but maybe if you're really busy, don't take call-in orders.
Yeah.
They were taking call-in orders and stuff. And then after that, they did listen to me. And then it did come out, to help them out a lot.
Sure.
Because I'll visit again. They're like, yeah, we don't do that anymore. Take call-ins while we do people that walk up to the truck. And
right.
it did help them out a lot. So I feel like, sometimes I give them suggestions, like feedback, positive feedback. They'll listen to me and all that. And
yeah. No, I think that's helpful. And I'm glad you're saying that, because somebody listening to this may say, oh, okay, well, at least I know I can go and ask him a question if he ends up coming to my restaurant, and maybe, he could give us some feedback or constructive criticism. Because I've seen some of the stuff that people post, and it is, it's borderline toxic, when people get upset about things. And I get that. If you spend money out, right? And I know for some people that don't go out a lot, when they do go out, they expect that everything's going to be perfect. The challenge that I have seen in this environment that we're in, coming out of the pandemic, just so many new restaurants in Northwest Arkansas and a new one opening up just about every week. We have to have a little bit of semblance of patience with these restaurant owners as they work out the kinks. And then from time to time, you're going to get some that are going to have worked out the kinks and still run into challenges. And no restaurant is perfect. And the only thing that you can really do is vote with your dollars and spend your money in the places that you feel best about spending it, as opposed to making a point about highlighting how bad a place is. I get it. And in my mind too, I think, if these restaurants have bigger challenges, right? Maybe staying clean and things of that nature, that's something for the city or municipality to handle, versus you trying to, make light of it through social media. Although it's helpful, it may not be as helpful as you think.
Well, yeah. Right now, I just try to give restaurants a break, because like you said, the pandemic, coming out from it, hiring staff is hard, supply cost is high. So I really give them a break right now, and try not to complain too much, because I really don't really complain when I go out to eat and all that, because I know how hard it is right now, because the restaurant industry is still trying to recover, and my restaurant owner friends are like, hey, can you find me some staff, because we're shorthanded.
That's like the biggest issue, staff,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, staff. Oh, yeah. And then, they have to cut costs where they can, one day we will get back to being normal.
I hope so.
I hope so too, because I just give them a little break here and there, because it's hard right now. So
yeah, no, I get it. So let's do this. So since your wife what's her name?
Nina.
So since Nina was so instrumental in exposing you to this, I mean, where have you gone in terms of your understanding of food, and how have you expanded your palate since starting the Hangry Peddler NWA?
I mean, I've been trying a lot more because she likes to eat a lot of Asian food, like ramen and Korean barbecue.
Sure.
Because before, I would just eat the same thing over and over and over again, like fried chicken and like a lot of American food, you know.
Sure.
So
Comfort food.
Comfort food, exactly. Yeah. So now when we go to Dallas and stuff, we try to eat at different places. A lot of Asian food, like I said. But right now we're both trying to explore more food too. Like her and I, we went to a East African food truck, Zanzibar, yeah,
absolutely.
So good.
I heard it was good. Yeah, I remember. I saw you posted something about that. So
yeah, and like when we go to New York City, she's never had Peruvian food, and then I've never had Peruvian food. So we went to this Peruvian restaurant, and it was really good too. So I think we're both trying to explore more stuff that she hasn't had.
Yep.
And then stuff that I haven't had, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's really opened up my eyes to the good food in life, I guess, you know, instead of the same old.
Same old. Got to mix it up. Variety adds a spice of life, as they say. And so I guess based on what I'm hearing you say is that you have featured any of those restaurants that you visit outside of Northwest Arkansas on the Instagram page?
Not yet. I haven't. But see, starting in a few weeks, I'll be going to Little Rock. So I want to start featuring more Little Rock spots over there for work and stuff. So I'm like, because I do the Arkansas ambassador thing where I go around the state or just feature stuff from Arkansas and all that. And right now I'm more doing Northwest Arkansas, so I want to start featuring more Central.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some good restaurants
it's not far
down
away,
there.
But yeah.
It's not. It's less than 3 hours away, and there's some really great restaurants down there. Mm-hmm. How did you get invited into the Arkansas Ambassador Program?
I just signed up, and then, you just sign up, and then I don't know what their process of picking somebody is, but I signed up last year. I didn't get it, and then I signed up. Oh, not last year, 2021. I didn't get it, and I got it for 22.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a paid thing. It's just highlighting the places around Arkansas. I got picked for the foodie portion. There's a bunch of like hiking, biking,
all kinds of different options.
Yeah, all kind of different ambassadors. So I'm a foodie ambassador.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's just fun. Something fun to highlight this area, what I'm already doing.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I look forward to hearing more about some of your experiences in Central Arkansas because like you said, I do go down, and I know a lot of people that go down to Little Rock for work or for whatever reason, and it's always nice to learn about new restaurants. And we try to, whenever I'm down there, I try to identify or find some new restaurant to go to, and it's nice to find something different, you know, that you can't necessarily find up here in Northwest Arkansas. So
yeah. So I'll start posting stuff from there too. So
okay, well,
one day I might post stuff from like New York or Dallas,
some other places,
just here and there. But I still want to keep it Northwest Arkansas.
Well, that's exciting, and I can't wait. I can't wait for you to do that. What are some of your, not to put any one place on blast over another, but what are some of your favorite spots to go to? And let's go Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, and Bentonville. So give us just one place with the understanding that you have multiple places, but give us one of your favorite spots to visit in each of the 4 main cities in Northwest Arkansas.
All right. Let's see. Fayetteville. I really, really like Cafe New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. Maudie is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maudie. Yeah. I love her food. Brunch is good. Her dinners are good. Just everything has so much flavor.
Sure.
You know, I would probably pick that as number one. And there's a lot. I wouldn't say number one, but like one of my top.
One of your top ones.
One of my top. I wouldn't say number one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And mad respect to Maudie. Maudie, they've donated like every year to Arkansas Advocate for Children and Families. She is a person about town in terms of giving back to the community. So I always try to talk about Cafe New Orleans whenever possible. So I appreciate you mentioning her. Go ahead and give us one in Springdale.
Springdale, it would have to be my favorite Thai restaurant in Northwest Arkansas. It's called Thai Taste.
I've heard about. Is that on 412?
It is. No, it is on 265.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the one on 412 is probably Silk Road, and that one's one of my favorite too.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So Thai Taste is really
Thai
good.
Taste, yes.
Okay,
really good. Their chef used to cook in Thailand at like a 5-star hotel and all that. Like he's legit, and I like it because it's relatively cheap. You get big portions, and it's very authentic.
Okay,
the taste is like amazing,
out of this world. Cool. I'll have to check that out. Thai Taste on 265 in Springdale. All right, what about Rogers?
Rogers, I would have to say Sidewalk. It's a Vietnamese food. It's like a fusion restaurant. I mean, they have traditional pho, and they'll like have other little fusion dishes and all that.
I've eaten there. It's in a strip mall, sits in the back, right?
Yes,
I know. It's right on a Walton Boulevard.
Yes, that's it. Mm-hmm.
So it's like as soon as you get off of 49, if you make a right and you go down about a mile or two, it's on the right-hand side.
That's it.
Yes, I know exactly. Yes, Sidewalk. They make a really good lemongrass salad with grilled chicken that's out of this world. So
okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and it looks good too.
Yeah, it looks
has like edible flour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they do a really good job. So yeah, I definitely have to. Well, now that you're saying that, I got to get back there. But Sidewalk does make really good food, and some people get it confused because they think that when you make a right turn on Walton Boulevard, you're pretty much in Rogers. You're not in Bentonville, but if you make a left turn, you're in Bentonville. So it's a little confusion up there. So what about Bentonville?
Bentonville, so many great places there. But the first thing that comes to mind is conifer. I ate there recently. Oh my gosh, it was
Say
so
no
good.
more. So
yeah. So that's what comes to mind. There's so many in Bentonville, but that's what comes to mind right at the moment because the meal I had there recently, oh my gosh, it was out of this world. And Matt Cooper, he's
insane.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, we've had Conifer. We've had Matt on the podcast twice, actually.
Oh, have you? Okay.
We had him on for the Preacher's Son when he was there.
Yes,
because he was the Preacher's Son, and we also had him on when he created and started Conifer. So I'm pretty excited Matt's a personal friend, so I promote him as much as possible. And there have been some other really great restaurants that I've encountered just in the past couple of years, and one of them is just down the road from here. If you've been to Atlas at all,
I love Atlas. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Chef Elliot Hunt.
Oh yeah,
now Atlas is not cheap, but the food is insanely good. So, and it's really, I tell people all the time because people that come here from other parts of the country, that's there are food trucks that I take people to, but then. Like I tell them about like a Conifer or Atlas, and then of course Heirloom in the 1907 building.
Yeah, I have not been there yet.
Chef
Heirloom.
Jason Paul can dice it up. Yeah. Now they've got a new place called the Pinky Swear.
I've seen that.
Have you been in there?
I have not. Yeah, that's on my list too. I'm slowly getting to these new spots for sure.
How do you manage your list? Do you just keep a list and then you eventually get to go to these places?
I do have a long list, and then sometimes my wife and I were like, where should we eat? And I just look at my list and I'll be like, okay, we haven't been there.
Yeah.
Sometimes people message me. They're like, hey, you need to, because they know I have a list.
Sure.
Like, hey, you need to go to this place right away because it's awesome.
Okay.
So
how often have you gotten a recommendation like that where it's been like they were on point? Like they were.
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Okay.
People message me all the time like, hey, you need to go here. Because, I don't automatically know that these places are open. Exactly. I get help, I get help from other people, from my clients at work, my followers.
I think I've even sent you a message to say you need to check out this place. I feel good if I can tell you about a place that you haven't been to. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it because I do get help from people, and people always hit me up in the DM like, hey, this place is opening soon, or this place just opened. You need to check it out. So. Yeah, and then I just jot it down in my note section in my phone, and I have a really long list.
Okay, I love that. No, well, that's good. That's good to know, and I'll continue to share stuff with you that I learned. But like I said, I love following you and just seeing all the places that you mention and that you've experienced, because it helps me to say, okay, I've got to go to this place, or I've got to check out that place. Is there any other restaurant that you didn't get a chance to mention that has really kind of blown you away in terms of your experience, in terms of the food, that you'd like to highlight on this episode?
I really like Havana. It's a Cuban restaurant in Rogers.
In Rogers, downtown Rogers.
Downtown Rogers is really good. That's one of our go-tos too.
What's your favorite meal there? Have you had the mofongo?
Oh, I've had the mofongo. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. Dish I can't pronounce it, but it's like Tirmaya. I can't pronounce it.
Okay, it's fine.
But the mofongo, I've had that. That one's really, really good.
Yeah, Havana's is really, really good. It's just off the square there in downtown. Well, it's not really a square in downtown Rogers, but it's just off the main drag.
Yep.
They've got, a cool little car parked out front, and, it's just a great place to go get a different experience, especially if you want to try some Latin-infused food with a kind of a Cuban/Puerto Rican flair to it. So, because mofongo is served in Puerto Rico and some other places.
I did not know that.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So that's very cool. Well, I'll definitely put that down. Are there any places that you're excited about that might be opening sometime soon, or?
Let me see. I can't think of any right now.
No,
I know there are out there, but I'm having a brain fart right now.
It's okay. Are you a wing guy?
Wing, yes.
What's your favorite wing spot?
Oh, chicken heads.
Okay, you like chicken heads.
That's my favorite.
That's your favorite.
One,
all right.
Ever.
All right. So I've had chicken heads. They are very, very good. I would say that I kind of like my wings smoked. And Lucky Luke's. I don't know if you've ever had them. Lucky Luke's is right there at the corner of Garland and what is that?
Is it behind Eclectic Kitchen?
No.
Across from the Harps?
Yes, exactly. Okay, yes,
by
exactly.
the campus, right?
Yeah, by the campus, right. Yeah. Okay. Garland and North, which turns into Weddington. It's right there at that intersection.
Gotcha.
It's across from the Harps. But Lucky Luke's is kind of a barbecue spot. Their wings are quite legit. And I also want to give a shout out to my man Nate Walls, because Nate Walls makes some amazing wings from the Secondhand Smoke barbecue spot. I mean, the challenge with Nate is that he doesn't have an actual restaurant, but you can order from Nate and he will deliver wings to you, or you can pick them up from him. But Nate knows his way around some wings. Lucky Luke's is good because they smoke their wings first, then they flash fry them. Oh, so you get that little. So you get the smokiness of the wing, then you get the fried texture, which a lot of people enjoy. So, and I'm a big wing guy, so
thanks for the rec. I'm gonna have to go now.
Well, there you go. Wow, I told the Hangry Peddler something. So that's cool. That's cool. So listen, for people listening to this, what's the best way for them to follow you and to check out what you're doing?
Right now, I am only on Instagram.
That's what I thought.
Hangry Peddler NWA. I do have a Facebook thing that I had to link to my Instagram, but I don't ever use it.
Okay.
So I'm not on Twitter or anything. So just strictly Instagram
is where you're at.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No website, no nothing, just Instagram.
It's all good because you put some videos up. You put a lot of cool stuff up. And if you could see Joseph and his beautiful wife from their wedding, and there's just a lot of cool images on there. And I'm going to also give a shout out to a place that you highlighted. It's in the food truck park right on College Avenue. Is it Chow's Asian Kitchen? It's right there in the Norfolk food truck lot. It's the Asian chicken food that's right there across from the skating rink on College Avenue. Yeah, I think it's Chow's.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Chow's. You highlighted them. You did highlight them. I know you probably lose track after a while.
Yeah.
But I remember when you first highlighted them, because the one thing you said about them was like, and you took me back to my college days of going to get Chinese food and getting that big carton of Chinese food where they would just give you so much fried rice and all that. But Chow's is actually really good, And
I need to go back there again. I know, it's probably been a while.
It's been a minute, but and so like I've seen several that you've posted and I've been like, okay, I gotta put that on my list. But I would encourage anybody listening to this episode, please visit Hangry Peddler, and that's PEDALER NWA. That's Hangry Peddler NWA on Instagram. You can find Joseph there. You can follow him. If you do follow him, DM him and say, hey, I heard about you on the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast with your man Randy, and just give him a shout out. And if you visit any of his recommendations and they really stand out to you, I want you to do me a favor. I want you, first of all, to send him a DM thank you, but then also go to that restaurant owner and say, hey, I heard about you on Hangry Peddler NWA, and I just want to tell you you're doing a great job. If they are. I mean, I'm not telling you to say that if the food's terrible, but I don't think, I think what you're going to see in the pictures that Joseph has put together on his Instagram page, they don't lie. So definitely support those local restaurants, let other people know. That's the only way that we will help these local restaurants to grow.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Spread the word, and if it's a good experience, tell all your friends. If it's a bad experience, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it is. So, well, listen, Joseph Nguyen, thank you so much for coming on the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. I'm glad we finally had a chance to sit down and chop it up.
Fun. Yeah, I'm so glad I finally got here.
Yeah.
I know it's been in the making for a while. So
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Randy.
No, without a doubt. Keep doing all the great things that you're doing here in Northwest Arkansas, and especially giving a voice and giving a platform to all those restaurants that are trying to make people aware of the great stuff that they're doing. And I mean, you've already given me a couple of names that I've got to go check out very soon. It really, Thai taste I'm coming for you guys. So y'all look out, because my wife and I love Thai food. Yeah. So we will be there really soon to enjoy a meal. But Joseph, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And we look forward to connecting with you again in the future. We may just touch bases with you to talk about some of the newer things that people are experiencing food-wise here in Northwest Arkansas in upcoming episodes. So thank you again.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Randy.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that's another episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. To learn more about us or to read or download the show notes from today's episode, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. You can listen to this episode and sign up for our free newsletter to keep up with us and all things NWA. Sign up today. You can also subscribe to the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast wherever you listen to it. And please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Our podcast comes out every Monday, rain or shine. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and we'll see you back here next week for another new episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes or more information on becoming a guest, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.